This will be their last taste of peace before the blood pact with the Empire takes place. These insects in the hills will be the least of their worries once they accept the deal to house the Holy Royal in exchange for travel off-world. In the future, they'll be yearning for battles as simple as fighting some bugs trailing across the marsh. Starboi is close to ascending the throne and achieving the title of Archon. That will seal this colony's fate as a vassalage of the Empire. They don't see an out, another way off planet. They're a tribal colony with limited technology. Their colony at this point is starving for steel, and they don't have enough technology or steel to build their own spaceship. So their plan is to rely on the Empire, fight their way off-world. And this bug raid proves to be the easiest battle that they'll face in the very near future, as the coming months are about to bring bloodshed on a magnitude never seen before. But before they can ascend the throne, they have a few tasks to complete, specifically for the Empire. The Empire has asked us to house these 10 prisoners in exchange for an alliance, a military alliance, which will prove even more useful when we're ready to go off planet. It's not a requirement for them to take us off planet and for us to house their royal, but if we do successfully house these prisoners, then they will give us a military alliance, which will prove useful in the future. Right now we're feeding them all raw food, and we're also intermittently taking their blood, so that we can use it for blood bags later on during the final combat. You can resuscitate your soldiers much more quickly if you give them a blood transfusion. In the meantime, we have to fight off our own raids, separate from defending the royal guest and emperor. Luckily, this raid passed through the northern wall, and we have some turrets and traps set up here already. That's because people have breached through this wall many times before, so we're kind of prepared for it. They're impids, but they're throwing their fire spew too early. They're not within range of us yet, so that's good. Also, some of our people have fire foam pop packs, and we can use that if we need. We make quick work of this raid, but you can see that we have corn planted everywhere. We're trying to stock up resources, and you can see our freezers full of meat and animals, as we'll need lots of lavish meals to house the Emperor. We also have built some grand thrones, and we're trying to build a second one because we need 2 of them. We need 2 of them, and we need that room to be impressive enough so that the Empire will give us passage off-world and allow this guest to stay with us, which has taken some time. And we've also started to gather up more food, more pigs, and we've planted crops in every single arable piece of land within our base and some places outside of our base as well. Our final child, Chewie, has also come to adulthood. He's the 3rd of the 3 children from Dioshan. He's full Yakin and will become super immune. Starboi, who is one of the original 5 tribals that started this colony, and also the spiritual leader and prophet of this group, has said that once the 3 children reach adulthood, that it will be time to call on the Empire for passage off-world. So now that Chewie is an adult, and coincides exactly when the throne is complete, we take it as a sign that we're ready to do the final mission and get these people out of here. However, we do have some final improvements on the throne room that need to take place. The impressiveness of the throne room needs to be 160. And this is a last look at the colony before it gets completely decimated by raiders. It's a peaceful place, a good land, a healthy land, our land. So once these prisoners are taken away, we have to house them for 18 days. Then we will be ready to call on the Empire for the final mission. But a disruption in Starboi's prophecy occurs. Flamingo gives birth to a baby girl. So she's starting to go into labor, and Starboi's a little bit upset because he did not foresee this. He foresaw the 3 children from Dioshan, and it was his plan that they should carry and help this colony get off-world. But he did not foresee his own child. Flamingo is his wife, and so he is not present for the childbirth, and the baby's born sick. And all the colonists take this as an ill omen, that maybe the days to come will be more difficult than they expect. But there is no time for second guesses or regrets, as the shuttle has arrived for the prisoners, and that signals that the colony is ready. Once these prisoners depart, then the Alliance will be secured, and the Empire will expect that this colony house their royal for 12 days in order to fight off the final mission. They load the prisoners onto the shuttle one by one, carrying them to their fate and carrying this colony back to their destiny. With each prisoner loaded onto the shuttle, the colonists start to feel more and more uneasy, as they know what lies ahead, and they know that inevitably they will have to face the final mission, and they will have to go off-world, but they are unsure if they are able to secure this. They've stocked up enough food, they have enough drugs, they've stocked up weapons and armor, they have defenses built, and they've lived here for over 700 days. They've built a uranium warhammer, they've mined steel and stockpiled steel, they've grown corn and set up their mortars, they've made medicine, and now they're ready. The throne room is built and almost complete and ready to go. They have a house for both Starboi and the royal that needs to be housed, a separate bedroom. So with all this done and complete and everyone ready, except for Starboi, who's intermittently throwing up during the ceremony because he has food poisoning, but don't mind him, guys. He's just a little sick. It's okay. Ingo will clean it up for him. He's fine. No, seriously, he's fit to be a royal. It's okay. Anyway, so I was saying, they get ready to ascend the throne because all their preparations have been completed. And Starboi will gain his last Psylinks and also sit as a count of the Empire. And with that, Pala arrives. Some say a omen? A doomsdayer? Prophet? The chosen one? Question mark. Maybe a renegade, because there are lots of people that want to kill this fellow. And there's a few things that happen during these raids that we'll talk about. The first raid obviously pops every single trap we have built. They're a Yatkin group that comes in with wargs. They all have personal shields, and they all come in running and popping every single spike trap. Our people get set up, and honestly I'm not too worried about this first raids, as the spike traps will do the trick. The big question of this is, can we build enough spike traps quickly enough in between raids to fend off the next one? We start throwing some EMP frags and rocket launchers at the entrance, just in case, to pop their shields as they come around the corner. But they retreat before they're even an issue. The second raid, though, is a breacher raid that comes through the south, and this becomes a little more difficult, as they're not coming through the kill box. We're going to have to fight them head on. One mistake I do make is that I don't have a grenadier. My grenadier actually has their EMP frags equipped, which I should have switched over to regular grenades. Chucking some regular grenades in here would have been very nice. Although these are tribals, my guys with plasma swords, they have plasteel long swords, uranium warhammers, chain shotguns. They're able to fight this off fairly easy, but the sheer number is concerning. This raid has so many people that we start to take doubt how many people are going to come in the last raids, because this seems to only be the initial sort of peppering of our colony. In fact, there's so many people in this raid that it's hard to make sense where the bodies end and where the bodies begin. There's so much death and destruction that again some doubt creeps into the colonists of, was this the right choice? And will they be able to overcome these next challenges and raids? Through the hospital they hear the crying of the baby. People are wounded. And they've only fought off 2 raids so far. They're starting to use luciferum and drugs to compensate. And they're also starting to give themselves blood transfusions as well. But there's lots of wounds that need to heal in the small time when the next raid will come. And so there's only so many doctors that can heal them. This raid path is through the south as well, and makes it kind of a weird diagonal through the kill box. Luckily, we're able to kind of stack on them as they come around this corner, which is nice. They kind of run around, but we're able to pop them pretty quickly, which is key, and they're not able to kind of run up on us enough to hurt us. They do severely damage our kill box though, which is tough because that means we're not going to have time to rebuild any traps. We're going to spend the majority of our time rebuilding the walls and the kill box. And before this raid's even finished, there's other people already attacking us, as you saw. We're still trying to kill the stragglers of that raid when people are coming in from this other raid, from the trash people, the trash pilers. Luckily, these guys path through the kill box opening that the other guys just made, and so are a little bit spread out and come through one by one. These raids are very much easy to handle if they're coming through one by one. As if they stack up all together and stay together, that things start to get very difficult and concerning. The toxic gas is definitely something you want to stay away from, but this raid also is not a great issue for us, and so are able to fight off 4 raids so far without significant difficulty, but really want to rebuild these walls before anything else happens. One thing that Starboi did get correct is that the alliance with the Empire would prove useful, as they send numerous soldiers to help fight off the next raid. Another tribal raid has approached our borders, and the Empire comes at them with heavy technology and armor, and is able to deal with them pretty easily. Although this raid, or this section of the tribal army, is only a third of their people, as you'll see in a moment. They deal with that pretty surgically, but up to the northeast there's 2 more groups. They meet this group in the open as well. And we're fine to sit back and let them fight this because, well, we're still healing from before. But of course, while the Empire is fighting off that raid, a group of pig comes in from the north. And the pigs are no easy opponents to deal with. They're tough, they tend to have shields and heavy armor. They're a breacher group too, so it's our suspicion that they're going to breach the walls on the northwest. I already hear them throwing frags through the mountains. In the meantime, we're trying to get our people to do as many drugs as possible because they're tired and they're upset that they've been fighting for so long. The pigs are also upset, and they're very intent on breaking into our base from the northwest, which is one area of the base that hasn't been tested yet. Most things have come from the south. We are able to get a reasonable defensive position set up. We have some barricades built up in our base for this very reason. And luckily for us, some stragglers from the Empire are still around, and they're coming through the base at the same time the pigs are coming in. So again, they help us fight off this raid. So all in all, the Empire completely devastated one raid for us, and kind of helped us also with about half of this pig raid. They do take great casualties though, and lose most of their men in the process. But if it wasn't for that alliance with them, I'm not sure where we'd be faring now. The pigs flee pretty quickly, in big part to our alliance counterparts. They do leave a huge hole in our wall though, and many of our people remain injured. There's blood everywhere, and we have not had time to properly regroup. We're still killing the last of the pigs when we get word from the Empire that there's a large group of tribals on our southern border, and that they are present in numbers never seen before in any raid. and that this fight might be the greatest challenge that this colony has ever faced.